Hello everybody, today I'm gonna be doing something new. I'm gonna be calling it Mangaka Spotlight, where I talk about a manga artist and I just chill out here. This is gonna be very much unedited, just a chill, layback, podcast style video. Just flip this on in the background, don't even worry, relax and chill. Today, as the title would indicate, we're gonna be talking about Yoshihiro Togashi. Togashi's work has had a huge influence on my life. It can go back as far as I can remember, since I was a kid, maybe 5, 6ish, when I'd turn on the TV, see Toonami on, and watch the anime adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho. There's just something about everything Togashi has made that just really appeals to me on a very human level, and I can't really explain it, but I just know it from just the feeling I get whenever I read his works. Reading a little bit about him online, I can't help but feel like this is the kind of person who just kind of had a lot figured out from a very early age. He started drawing manga in, I believe, the 2nd grade, and his family owned a paper store. In a weird way, it almost feels kind of like he was destined to go down this route. It's very different from me, where I just kind of meander about trying to figure out what it is I'm meant to do in this world. Togashi kind of tried to go the classical route of going to college and getting a degree and trying to become a teacher, but it seems like the thing he actually wanted to do, or the thing that he seemingly had the talent for, was drawing manga, and that's something that I just find incredibly fascinating because of how you can really apply it to so many different things in life. And of course, he ended up moving to Tokyo and drawing manga for Shonen Jump professionally. He started making a lot of lesser known comedy works, which were really good. Like, some of them won awards, but the thing that really put his name on the map was Yu Yu Hakusho, which is one of my all-time favorite series. It draws heavily from Togashi's love for the supernatural and the occult, and the emphasis on that really got me into thinking about that stuff too. It really just seeps through the work into the person reading it. For the longest time, I was also really interested in supernatural stuff just because I read Yu Yu Hakusho, and it made me want to see what else like this was out there. Yu Yu Hakusho often gets accused of borrowing a lot from Dragon Ball, just like a lot of other series around that time, but in my opinion, it's so much more than that. Or at least it is to me. The excellent character writing, the action, just how interesting the world was in general was something that just captivated my mind as a child and really launched me into an obsession with the medium of anime and manga. And I'm not even the only one who's had like huge influences made on their lives by Yu Yu Hakusho. The creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, states that Togashi is one of his favorite manga artists because he read the original run of Yu Yu Hakusho while he was growing up. And Nobuhiro Watsuki, that's right, Mr. Child Porn himself, he also states Togashi as a huge influence. And if these people who wrote these amazing series that eventually went on to inspire more people and become great hits all across Japan and outside of Japan, then that really speaks to just how amazing Yu Yu Hakusho is. Another thing about Yu Yu Hakusho is just that I loved the fucking characters. Like, Yusuke Urameshi has to be one of my favorite shonen protagonists, just because I don't think I've ever seen a delinquent character be written in such a sympathetic manner, in such an interesting manner, where it's a character that acts like a huge asshole, but at the end of the day, on the inside, is a good person. And even though there are so many people who hated him while he was alive, and actively celebrated his death, he still went out of his way and did nice things. And I think it really just says something about how we as people view each other, and how on the surface level everybody has some shit to say about you, but they don't really know you as an individual. They don't really know you as a person, whether or not you're a good guy or a bad person. Hiei is very similar in that way. He's a kid that basically grew up his entire life being judged and feared by everybody around him, but was eventually able to move past that and move past any residual hatred he had for the people who mistreated him when he was younger, and become a better person. In fact, now that I think about it, you could say that's a huge theme of Yu Yu Hakusho, is these characters that start out as people who are often judged or were bad people that eventually just turned it around and became great individuals, but at the end of the day are still judged or feared by the people around them, but are still able to push past that and become great individuals. Of course, Yu Yu Hakusho isn't the only amazing series Togashi has made. His latest series, and the series that has had a lot of controversy surrounding it, Hunter x Hunter, is absolutely amazing. Hunter x Hunter scratches that itch for me, where adventure and action rules. You would be surprised how hard it is to find a great action adventure series nowadays, and Hunter x Hunter just exceeded every expectation I had for it. Funny story, when I first read Hunter x Hunter, I was not aware that Togashi also wrote it, mostly because I wasn't aware of Togashi himself as a mangaka, because I just watched and read Yu Yu Hakusho and I didn't really think twice about it. I didn't really look into Togashi as a person or as a figure within manga. So when I read Hunter x Hunter, there are some things I noticed, but I didn't really make the connection until much later on. And that's when I really started to just look into and want to learn more about Togashi as a creator. I love Hunter x Hunter because it has one of the most interesting worlds to date in manga. It's a place with so many different facets and intriguing points that I find that is also a great draw for the series. One of my favorite arcs in all of manga is the Chimera Ant arc. Spoiler alert for those who are not 100% caught up with Hunter x Hunter or care to in the future. The Chimera Ant arc was so interesting because out of nowhere we get this insane amount of lore about the world and the creatures that live there. We get to learn about this entirely different species with these incredibly unique abilities, and how much of a threat they ended up becoming to the rest of the world. These creatures that started out as just plain old monsters that slowly become more human and more interesting as time goes on, but at the same time not realizing just how human they are, and just the ensuing conflict and the clash that happens when they do fight against actual humans. And it doesn't entirely sink in right at the start of the war between the humans and the Chimera Ant. It's only towards the later parts of this battle that it really starts to sink in, and it really makes you want to applaud Togashi, makes you want to go out and buy this man a beer, because he just did the thing. He just made something wonderful and entertained an audience of millions. That being said, however, it brings me to the reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place, and that is Togashi's health. This is probably one of the saddest things I've been hearing about for the last couple months in the world of manga, and that's that Togashi's health is failing him, that the years of grueling, back-breaking work on manga are really taking their toll on him, and because he's such a perfectionist and he doesn't want to let other people help him handle his work, it just keeps getting worse. Togashi has gone on record as saying that it's gotten so bad that at this point it's either that he finishes the series or he dies before he does it. And I don't know about you, but I just could not live with the idea that somebody worked themselves to death in the manga industry. And while I do understand this is just a straight up difference in mindset between Western cultures and Eastern cultures, it's still just really disheartening to see this guy who created some of the most amazing works of fiction out there go out like this. And God forbid, before he finishes the series, is really just not okay. While I admire his raw dedication to his craft, I feel like Togashi needs to realize that nobody wants to see him die. He has a family to also think about. His wife, Naoko Takeuchi, and their 2 kids. How are they gonna feel if Togashi drops dead while working on the next Hunter x Hunter chapter? And I know a lot of people are really upset about that constant hiatuses, but you have to understand, things are just this bad now. It is just this bad. And the only person who can stop it is Togashi himself. He has to realize that he needs help. And only then will we get a steady stream of Hunter x Hunter like we used to. Anyway, that's basically the bulk of what I had to say. This is very new to me. So tell me what you think about it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want, and I'll be seeing you.